Qatar's Foreign Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al-Thani remains defiant in the face of the Gulf states that are trying to isolate the Middle Eastern nation about claims that it supports terror groups. During an interview with the Associated Press, the minister repeatedly denied that his country funded extremists, and he rejected the idea of shutting down the Al-Jazeera news network. Now, he says the Muslim Brotherhood is not a terrorist organization. The foreign minister says the country's ruling emir will not leave the country while it is, in his words, in blockade, and he will not be attending an offered mediation by the US President Donald Trump in Washington.
They cannot just accuse me that I am supporting Muslim Brotherhood with, because I'm not listing them as terrorist organization. I don't have any proof to list them as terrorist organization. If they have a proof that they commit an act of terror, I am willing to investigate and to list. I'm an independent country. I have my sovereignty. I know how to evaluate and to assess. Regarding Al-Jazeera, the way they have anything against Al-Jazeera itself, or the way they are presenting their news, they can come and talk to Al-Jazeera. We offer everyone an open platform. They can come and present. But if anyone is thinking that he wants to impose anything on my internal affairs or my internal issue, this is not going to happen.
Let's get an on-the-ground perspective on this particular story. Adel Marouhi has been in Qatar for a couple of days now. Adel, let's start with your experience. Describe your entry into Doha for us. How hard was it to get in? How are flights being rerouted into the country?
Well, Rama, I have to know it wasn't a simple flight. Usually it's around 3 hours directly from Cairo to Doha. We had to take another route. Now, I wish I could have gone to Somalia to see Abdulaziz, but from Egypt, it's much more convenient to go to one of two of Qatar's neighbors, which are Oman and Kuwait. These are two of the countries who have not joined the rest, the UAE, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia to shut down their airspace. And this has created two main hubs in the Gulf, which are the closest to Qatar. And this is where we went through. We went out from Egypt with separate air tickets, took another flight and entered there. From there on, it was, instead of just a simple 3-hour flights, went up to about around 12 hours.
Indeed, that's pretty long. Let's talk about the shipping lanes, though. They've been limited. Air links, of course, have been extended, as you just mentioned. So how are supplies for day-to-day needs? How are they getting in and out of Qatar?
So officially now, there is, or at least from a quick survey from many retail and stores here, the main they mainly lack fresh milk that usually comes on a daily basis from the land border. As you said, there are two remaining ways, from the sea and the air, and now there have been, I've learned from several importers here and traders that the Qatari government is starting to give facilitations in the restrictions on importing goods. Instead, for example, they usually all importers must have an Arabic label or on any imported good. That will not be a necessity in the coming period, and they will increase their air fleet. There's a good portion, and this will be announced very soon. The decision has been taken in several meetings with the Prime Minister here, but they will soon officially announce a decent sum of the flights that used to be dedicated to the Gulf neighbors. They will be shifted to a cargo service, and this will be the main air track or the main air bridge to bring in the missing supplies that the country needs.
Indeed. Natural gas, Qatar produces a lot of it, but a big chunk of that actually provides electricity for Dubai, for the UAE. Are the Qataris likely to cut gas flow to their southern neighbor in response to the sanctions that have been imposed on them?
So far, not at all. So far, they have actually stressed that this will continue. They will not boycott, or they will not shut down the service. They will obey and honor the contracts that they have. Even when Al-Jazeera network have been shut down in several countries, they have allowed other news agencies and channels like Saudi's Al Arabiya, like Sky News, that is based in the Emirates, or Egyptian news, to be broadcasted. So they're not actually in the position to an eye for an eye, not yet. And business-wise, it is an important vein, not just for UAE to provide electricity, but also there are payments that will help Qatar keep its revenues.
Indeed. One last question for you, Adel. For this embargo to end, what exactly do the Saudis, the UAE and the allies want the Qataris to do? Because we keep hearing this phrase, they want support for terror groups to stop, and they include groups like the Muslim Brotherhood in that. But what exactly are these groups they're referring to, and what is the issue that the other countries have with them?
So primarily, Foreign Minister Adel Jubeir, the Saudi Foreign Minister, has named the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas as two main organizations Qatar need to take a step back in supporting. However, the terror list that was announced yesterday night by all the main four Arab countries that are leading this rift did not include any Hamas members, or to include Hamas as a terrorist organization in this all-inclusive list. So that's one side for it. Beside that, there have been the talks that you've just mentioned about shutting down Al-Jazeera, that we've heard the Foreign Minister Mohammed Thani says it's definitely not going to be shut down. From what I've been talking to many people here and analysts, they're saying that the rules are not fair. They want Qatar to shut down its news channel, but they will keep theirs, whatever the country has, the name of the news organization that it has. They want Qatar to cut down ties with Iran, but on the other hand, you have UAE is one of the biggest, it's actually the biggest trade partner with Iran in the Arab world. So what people here want, they want to see a fair trade. They want the same rules being applied to everyone, and they want to, as we've heard the foreign minister, they want to feel that Qatar is sovereign and no one can interfere in its own decisions or its own views.